My name is Tadir Cross from Room 204.
My name is Anisha Kai from Room 204. And please repeat after me. Today is another day to build and share friendships by doing our best to respect ourselves and others, to demonstrate justice and honesty, to love and commit ourselves and others to high standards and expectations. Finally, today is another day to achieve established goals by realizing that our good must become better and our better must become great. Have a great day of teaching and learning. Thank you.
As the children enter the classroom in the morning, they know to come into the closet where they deposit their homework folders and their library books that they took home from the night before. It's a librarian's job then to collect the books and bring them back into the library area. When the children have put everything away, they come over to the table and they pick up their apple that has their name on it, and they bring it over to the apple tree. And this is a way of them recording their attendance. And then at a quick glance, we can see who's in school today and who is not in school today. It also makes it easy for the child whose job is to record the absentees. He just needs to check whose apple has been left on the table, and he can record who was absent, how many children were absent, and who did that job. From the apple tree, they come down to the job chart. Every child has a job and is represented on the job chart, and the jobs change every day. The reason for that is because when they first come to kindergarten, one of the first words that they can recognize right away is their name, and they start to learn to track their name as it moves along the job chart. The names move left to right with the return sweep, so it really is a pre-reading skill as well. But also, when every child has a job to do, they know that they're responsible for the classroom and that they need to do their job in order for our classroom to work well. Some jobs, there are partners that help with jobs, snack helpers jobs, there's 3 of them, and then other jobs children do singularly. If they need help, they know that they can always ask a friend in the classroom to help them with their job. After they've done their job, they have choices in the classroom. In the morning, they can eat breakfast if they choose. There's always a table set up with the breakfast, or there's buckets of books on the table where they could come and sit with friends and do a book browse. And that's the way they start their morning every day. It's a nice, easy transition from home to school, and sort of frees me up so that if a child comes in who's having a particular difficulty, or if a parent needs to talk to me about something that's been happening at home or happening at school, I'm free to be able to do that and have conversations with children and parents in the morning to ease their day and start their transition into school much easier. Then it's a cleanup bell. Somebody rings the cleanup bell, and the children come to the rug where we start our morning meeting.
In order to reinforce positive behavior in my classroom, we use a system called Class Dojo. It's hooked up to my cell phone as well as to the smart board, and we use that system and we give the kids points when they're on task and showing good behavior, if they're participating, if they're answering and asking questions. We also take away points if they are off task or they're showing unfortunate behaviors. So that system helps to motivate them, and we usually have a reward tied into a certain amount of positive dojo points, as we call them, and the kids really get motivated to exhibit good behavior because of that system. The reinforcers, it kind of varies. The kids change their minds as to what they want and what they like, so we try to mix it up to keep them excited about the next reward. Sometimes it's a weekly thing, maybe a class activity on Friday or a snack on Friday. Sometimes it's more of a monthly thing. It's a big trip or something like that. Other days it's more of, a piece of candy on the desk for kids who are really showing great behavior. Anything from small things to big things, just to keep kids excited about what the next reward is going to be, so that they always are exhibiting that positive behavior that the dojo rewards.
I encourage cooperation with my students in several ways. At the beginning of the year, we do a ton of team builders and class builders. One of the main experiments we do to get the kids comfortable with cooperating with each other is they are given like 10 sheets of newspaper, and they're required to build a paper tower using nothing but newspapers, tape, and scissors. And they need to work together in order to build the highest one. So that is definitely one way we encourage cooperation. Another way is the students for most of our lessons are seated in cooperative learning groups of 4. According to the Kagan model. So the kids are constantly working together using structures like rally robins, time pair share. Another way we encourage cooperation is that we use a system, my team uses table points. So kids are constantly they're earning table points for positive behavior, working with their peers, helping their peers with things, and just normally functioning as a team. They're also held accountable. They can also lose table points for negative interactions with peers, speaking negatively to somebody, any making fun, any bullying, any of that, they can also lose points. So that I found is definitely very effective in encouraging cooperation. Let's see, another way is team builders and class builders don't stop just after September. We do approximately 1 team builder a week, 1 or 2, and 1 class builder a week. And these are just various activities where the students are working together. They are talking about a non-academic question. Some of them are, what's your favorite holiday and why? If you could be anything in the world, what would it be? Just questions to get them acquainted with their peers and more comfortable working with them.
The advice I have for other teachers, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be challenges. I would say leverage other adults in the building as much as you can. Leverage the students' interests. A couple students who have a lot of behavior challenges, we have trackers for them where they fill out a tracker each day with the teacher as to their behavior, and then they take it to another adult in the building who they trust and have a relationship with, so they can either show off their positive progress or talk to that adult about what needs to get better if they had a bad day. And that seems to work really well for a lot of kids.
We started our community meetings a year ago at the inception of Chancellor Avenue School becoming a renewed school. Last year, Principal Fuentes and I led all the morning community meetings. It was a way to reinforce our core values. We have 4 core values. They are respect, responsibility, reflection, and resiliency. This year, we allowed to bring teachers into that process. It allowed for buy-in with the staff and for the students to see that we are truly a school community. Each teacher facilitates in the mornings, as well as the coaches. And usually there's some sort of short presentation that lends itself to a core content subject area or one of our core values. So like this morning, our meeting was a motivational young speaker led by Miss Nestor, 6th grade math teacher. And it really spoke to resiliency and the belief that you can believe in yourself. So it's really good to see the students assist with the facilitation of the morning community meets, and it's a way to bring the entire community body together on a day-to-day basis. It allows us to reestablish expectations school-wide, recognition for teachers, for perfect attendance for students. And so any announcements that we have to make, any celebrations that we want to have, this is the forum here at Chancellor, and it starts with the morning community meet.
The folders, and then these are our portfolios where our best work goes. See progressive writing resources and stuff, social studies, our library, and then we go over here, and then this is another library, computers. And then this is back table where we listen to our books. So if we have a tape, we put it inside the tape machine, and then we listen to the book instead of reading it. And then this is usually about 3 months we have a module, and at the end of the module we usually do a project. And this is, we already did this, the brochure. We had to do a brochure of gourmet clothing and stuff. So yeah, now we worked on our memoirs. It's an essay about our lives. So these are just posters of a project we did, and these are small groups. There were groups like there was 5 groups, and those 5 groups had a different purpose. So each group was named by her favorite sports team. So there's academic vocabulary, test prep, writing, independent reading, listening. And each day you would switch to a new station. And when you were in that station, you had to do whatever work that you had to do in that station. And then this is also our data wall. This is where you can find our grades that are, like, progressing, and you have your code number and stuff. And then the board is just full of projects because we usually use the smartboard. So we don't really need this board. We just put all our projects so everybody can see them. And then you come over here, and this is where the front table is, the late passes, exit tickets, do nows, and checklists.
Okay, so the first step in developing this positive behavior plan here at First Avenue was a collaboration between myself, the other school counselor, our school administration, as well as the key lead teachers in the grades pre-K through 8. And what we did was we met on a weekly basis to discuss what the teachers felt they needed to see in each and every classrooms. One of the primary concerns that we found was that there was different expectations and norms as the kids either transitioned from one class to the next or transitioned throughout different parts of the building, such as the bathrooms, the cafeteria, the auditorium. So we wanted everybody here at First Avenue to speak the same language in terms of what the norms, the rules, and the expectations should look like, so that there's normalcy in what it is, and so that the children didn't feel like they were being picked on in one class and they were allowed to get away with something in the other class, so that having everything normalized really made it an essential piece, and actually meeting with the teachers on a weekly basis so that they felt like they were part of the plan, so this isn't something that was just thrown on them. So once we put that plan together in place, it took about a month. And then we also met with the teachers again just to make sure that this is something that they wanted to do, that this is something that the kids would be able to follow. So that was the key piece, making sure we had key players. And also with the upper grades, we also got representatives from the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade classrooms to see what the kids' input was. So the way we keep track of the behavior and the reinforcements is that each teacher is given a weekly points tracker. So where you have an expectation from the classroom, what does the expectation in the classroom look like? So you are to be prepared, you are to raise your hand when spoken to, be respectful at all times. So different behaviors you receive a point for. And the teacher has a points tracker which she addresses with the kids in the morning. And for the older kids, that point tracker follows them throughout the different classrooms that they change. So essentially a perfect week would give you 25 points. We want to do an 80% expectation because we want the kids to feel successful. So they would get, if you get 20 points, you would be rewarded on a weekly basis. At the end of the month, we also have a school-wide reward where we'll pull a shield from a kid from grades pre-K through 8. So there's constantly rewarding of positive behavior here at First Avenue School.
Okay, you can come back down, Amaya. Let me hold your breath. Yeah. All right, miss, go slow. What we do here is once the child receives a shield, sometime throughout the day, especially during their lunchtime, the children take their shields and they actually put it in their respective grade level. So this is something they look forward to. They're excited to go to the shield box. They're excited to put their shields in. And at the end of the month, myself and the other school counselors select for the monthly prize one shield per grade level.
So one of the most important things as far as who is allowed to give shields to our students was that we trained the entire school community. So myself, the other school counselor, as well as our administration here, met with our cafeteria staff separately, our security staff, our nursing staff. We also met with parent liaisons, and what we did was we trained them on how, if you catch a kid doing something right, meeting the expectations, be it holding a door, walking quietly in the hallway, so you can give a shield to any child that you catch doing good.
The children earn points each day. There are 5 different categories that they will earn points for each time they exhibit the appropriate behaviors. They earn points for classroom behavior, hallway behavior, being prepared, wearing school uniforms, and being respectful. So each day we work on, are you working on your hallway point today? And recognizing all the positive behaviors that go along with earning those points. We have a tracker. This tracker is hung on the door.
So when the children come in, if they're prepared, they have their homework, we start right away by you earn your points. And they build up the points as the day progresses. And it's nice because we can keep track this way. Parents can have information about their children's behavior, and we can very quickly look back and say, okay, you worked on this point today, good job. And the points add up to shields. The First Avenue Knight is our mascot. So when the children earn the appropriate amounts of points, they get shields. The shields are then put into a container, and we have monthly shield winners. So the kids know that the more points they earn, the more shields they earn, and the more possibility they have of being rewarded for their positive behaviors. Some of the reinforcers that I use include homework passes, could be simple things like erasers or a pencil. I try to keep it inexpensive, but the kids even enjoy having lunch with me or a teacher of their choice. When they get the bigger rewards, if their name is pulled out for a monthly shield winner, they'll have anything from popcorn to a movie or pizza, so they have things to look forward to daily and monthly. Absolutely, it's really helped me manage the behaviors especially with students with IEPs, because they need the instant gratification. So if they know that they're working on something and I can say, okay, just keep it in a real positive tone, let's work on getting your classroom point today, how can we do that? And getting them to talk back to me about what they can do to make sure that they're earning all the positive recognition that they need. It's helpful because it doesn't focus on the negative. You're not going to word it to where you say you're going to lose a point. You work on getting that point. I mean, if they don't get it, by the end of the day, you have your discussion about why they didn't get it, but you're wording everything really positively throughout the day. And I think that's really helped me a lot, because they need to focus on what they're doing well. So if they come in, you'll be surprised. Some of them will say, I did my homework, I get my homework point, because they're excited that they come in and they know that right away, boom, they're going to start off on a positive note.
Effective classroom management strategies I could say is, since I do teach third grade, but I also teach middle school in the summer and the summer camp, one of the quickest ways and funnest ways to redirect a class is to just do something silly that they could follow along with. So I might say Skittles, and they'll say, taste the rainbow, and they'll be tracking me. Or I might go, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum, and they'll go, I'm loving it, and they'll be tracking me as well. So it's a fun way to keep them, to redirect their attention as well as get them excited about what you're about to say. A apple, A. A apple, A. I almost see 100%. Let's have 100%. Red robin. Yum. There we go. Now we're almost there. There we go.
I actually took over my LGM classroom in December. So I don't want to say inherited, but I took over the classroom mid-year, which was quite challenging. When I got to the classroom, there were very few routines in place. Students were sort of being given the same work across the board, and I walked in and observed for the first couple of days and decided that I needed to spend the first 3 or 4 weeks in the classroom with the students, sort of throwing the curriculum out the window and just spending time with them, getting to know them, and allowing them to get to know each other. Using different vehicles to do that. We have a compliment chain in our classroom where if students are given a compliment by another teacher, by myself, we sort of add a link to their chain and they can watch that chain grow throughout the year. And I promise them that when that chain hits the floor, we will have a pizza party.
I encourage cooperation with my students. I'll tell you, first with expectations. If you don't tell the children what is expected of them, then it's based on interpretation. And so from the very first day, we talk about expectations, and we sign a contract on what those expectations are. They bring it home, they read it over with their parents, and the parents sign off on it saying that they too agree with the expectations that are in my classroom. The cooperation that they work together in the classroom, and with the expectation, we talk about how the kind of language we use with each other, how we, what is expected of them. And we model what some of the comments you can say. I have on the wall over there, it's our critique protocol when they're critiquing each other. Some of the things you can say is, as you peer review, you can say, I like how you, so you take a positive note on what you saw that's good. As mentioned before, this is on the behavior chart, you don't get to go pull a card the first time for the first offense or the first time you weren't following directions. You will get a couple of verbal warnings, and if in fact you don't heed those verbal warnings, now you come over to the behavioral chart. The first one you get pulled, it's a warning. The second one said second warning. The third one says I need to be extra careful. The fourth one says put on the brakes, I need to stop now. The fifth one said I need to think about this choice, stop, or I'll get a parent call. So there's still a chance to stop here before you get the parent call. Now, before each child come up to get a card pulled, I usually ask them, do you know why you're getting your card pulled? And depending on the answer, I will say, explain what it is, because it's useless if they're pulling a card and don't know why. So if they say no, then I explain what it is. If they say yes, I said, okay, go ahead and get it. And most times they usually don't get past the yellow starts, the first one. Usually they not past the green or the pink. So they, right about now, this is a half day have gone, and I have 3 gone. So out of 27, that's a good start.
I encourage cooperation with my students right away by building rapport with them in the beginning of the year. I like to begin the year with low-risk activities that build community, that both engage interpersonal learners and intrapersonal learners. Some of those activities include reflections, designing their ideal friend, finding someone who has similar interests as they do, and a lot of activities that pertain to my conflict resolution unit. In that unit, we read a lot about conflicts and problems that kids their age face. We discuss them. We create a cube where they have all of these resolution strategies that they can use throughout the year, and they create skits so that they can act them out. I need to educate my students and give them tools that they can use all year round. We have a lot of conversations and reflections about feeling safe and what that means both physically and emotionally. They come into my classroom with past experiences, and so even though we don't want to dwell on them, we need to use them to inform us on how we can figure out what it is that we need and what we want to feel safe throughout the year. I also ask them to inform me on what it is for them to have an ideal teacher. What is it that they want and need from me to want to come to school and want to learn and want to feel safe? I can't expect them to trust me right away. It's not fair. So I need to earn it, and that starts with knowing what they want and what they need from me.
Preventive behavior, it's about showing these young men that they are positive men in the community, that they can achieve the same success that these men have achieved if they listen and follow the blueprint that's been laid forth in front of them. The mere fact that I'm a vice principal at this school, because I graduated from the school 25 years ago, so just by me being present in the school, being a success, being a vice principal, playing in the NFL, being a business owner, being a homeowner, these kids can see that if Mr. White can do it, I can do it as well. So I'm a walking proof that you can succeed out of Malcolm X Shabazz. Well, there is no connection. They go hand in hand. If you're a great student and you do everything you're asked to do, you're going to achieve success. So I don't separate the two. Being a great student and being positive are one. So if you do the things that the adults ask you to do in the building, there's a chance that you're going to be real successful. Now on the flip side of it, if you don't, if you want to do things your way, you stand a chance of running the risk of not being successful.
The kickboard system is a tracking system that will track positive and negative behaviors. For instance, if students or our scholars, we call our students scholars, if our scholars come into school with their uniform daily, their homework daily, they get positive points for that. So they get brick buck points for that. If they compliment someone or they help someone in school, they also get positive brick buck points. But if they fight or use language that is not acceptable in school, or if they don't turn in homework or wear uniform, they will get negative points. Well, we used negative points last year. This year, it's just that it would be logged and they don't get money taken off. And at a certain time throughout the year, for instance, this coming Monday, we have our Brick Book celebration. So the scholars then get their checks and they are able to celebrate with us. So whether it's a party, if it's a movie, they get to go to the Brick Buck store and they get to purchase things from the store using their money.
I do thumbs up, a lot of positive, what I feel is positive verbal interaction with the students, thumbs up, give your brain a kiss, all of those things. Children love, as do adults, love to be encouraged, you know, so those are just some of the strategies that I use. What did we say to her to give her some encouragement? Nice try. Nice try. Not quite, right? Saeed, what do you think that answer was? Hit, because it said to do what? Change how many letters? One letter, so it's hit. Gives you much and some snaps. All right, next one. Let's see, Carlos. Come on, Mr. Vargas, what do you have? Read the clue for us.
The ability to say clever or funny things, change one letter.
Ooh, what'd you come up with?
Hit. Huh? No.
I did the same answer twice, right?
Nice try.
But we can give him a nice try. I think the main thing that I would say to a new teacher is to be consistent. Whatever your classroom expectations are, they have to be consistent throughout the school year. You may have to revisit it, you know, over and over again, but they must be consistent. They must be clear. The students must understand what those expectations are. You know, don't focus so much on the consequences of not meeting the expectations, but on the expectations. I think that you just have to develop from the very beginning of the school year that positive classroom environment. If you do that at the very beginning of the school year, I think it will carry you throughout the school year. You know, just be positive and develop that community within the classroom.
Events like this, where you could bring, you know, students from 2 different high schools together under the same pretense of getting better, you know, it's going to just boost the overall culture and climate of the school. At Central High School, I mean, you know, we have something called daily convocation. During daily convocation, we try to promote the goals of the school, the vision of the school, and what we want, you know, to set throughout the entire school day and essentially the school year. So it promotes, you know, culture, it promotes community, and also it promotes our core values. And, you know, from top to the bottom, from the principal down to the custodial workers, to the teachers' aides, to the individuals that come in and out of the classroom, and it resonates to the students. You know, at Central High School, the building culture can be seen through the students, from the uniform to the way they talk, to the way different activities and what have you happen, just to the basic movement. So events like this, you know, when you break down and you start to feed children's minds with the nourishments that they need, they'll start to essentially get healthy. And then it'll be healthy, and it'll be an infectious healthy in which we can change society, we can change the community, and we can change things for a better place at hand.